Hello, Dr. Della Parker here, and we are going to talk about weight loss today. So I just want to check in. I've got a lot of patients that are, maybe 40 to 60, having a hard time losing weight. I'm really glad we're thinking about weight loss because with all of this COVID stuff going on, we know that obesity is a really big risk factor for negative outcomes. So weight management is really healthy for our immune systems to stay at a healthy weight. But what a lot of women are finding is that, maybe the things that they used to do, whether, maybe they're doing the same diet and they're still exercising the same, or maybe they never did exercise and they're still not. But all of a sudden, what they've been doing all along is not working for them anymore. And weight is going up and they're trying to figure out why. So let's talk about what's happening through this perimenopause, postmenopausal time, right? So progesterone is a hormone produced by your ovaries, but during that time when ovaries are saying peace out, I'm heading into retirement, they're going to start making less and less. So the only other place in the body that's going to make progesterone is your adrenal glands. And if you followed me at all, you know that I love talking about adrenal glands and how us busy mommies just burn the candle at both ends and stress those suckers out, right? So if they're super stressed, they're not able to do their jobs well, it means they're not going to be able to make progesterone really well. There's actually something really cool called the pregnenolone steal, where your body is actually going to steal the pathway making progesterone to make more cortisol to manage stress. So when you've got low progesterone, a lot of not great things, especially when we're talking about the ratio of estrogen to progesterone. So if you're still making lots of estrogen, because not only can you make estrogen in your ovaries, when those guys stop, you can make it in your adrenal glands, you can also make it in fat tissue, in adipose tissue, okay? So you still got estrogen working because you've got maybe a little extra layer of love working, but you're not having any progesterone. So now you're estrogen dominant, okay? So estrogen is the hormone that kind of builds in the body. So it encourages weight gain. So that is one really important thing to think about that we want to fix, because if you are walking around estrogen dominant, whether it's because you actually have really high estrogen or it's just because you have low progesterone, if we don't get that corrected, it's going to be hard for you maybe to drop some lbs. The other thing is thyroid health, another hormone. We want to make sure your thyroid's working. It's frequently overlooked by medical doctors, okay? Your thyroid runs your metabolism, basically. And if your medical doctor is just checking in on your TSH and calling it a day, I would look elsewhere, because that is basically, from what I see every day, probably 60% of patients, that TSH number is being interfered with because of hormones, because of cortisol, and it's not telling the true story of the hormones downstream. So you've really got to check in on free T3, free T4, and see how your hormones, your thyroid hormones, are actually functioning, okay? So checking the thyroid, very important when we're thinking about weight gain or inability to lose weight, okay? The last thing that I want to mention is exercise. So maybe you've been doing the same boring exercise routine. Maybe you've gotten away with not exercising really at all and you've been able to maintain your figure, and now you're trying to figure out why you can't lose weight, but you're really not trying to add or change up your exercise. Girlfriend, I get it. I'm not in love with exercise either, and it sucks. But when we get older, it's our bodies are dude, I've been doing it for you this whole time. You got to put in a little more work now if you want us to work for you. That's just the way it is. So what you've been doing all along isn't going to cut it anymore. You've got to put more in to get what you want out, okay? So if you're complaining about weight loss, or inability to lose weight, rather, and you haven't checked in on your hormones or your thyroid, and you are not exercising, you don't really have anything to complain about, because that is so important. Obviously, diet is numero uno. We have an awesome nutritionist that can help you dial that in. But if you're doing all that, you've really got to switch up your exercise game or get those hormones checked so we can figure out how we can kick your metabolism into gear and get you at a healthy weight that supports a healthy immune system, because we know that, when you're carrying around those extra pounds, the obese population are basically who are dying from COVID. So that's a lot of people, and I understand that. But if we are managing our weight, exercising, staying healthy, then we don't even have this immune crisis that we're all talking about, okay? So get in here. Let us help you figure out how to get on track, get your hormones fixed, get your diet fixed, and motivate you to get your butt to the gym, maybe do some extra weights. You've got to put in the work. That's the bottom line. I know. I don't have a magic pill. Sorry, hope that's not why you were tuning in. Anyways, we've got a new patient application on our website or link in bio. Check that out if you're interested and we can help you get started. We would love to help create more healthy people in this world so we can get over this immune system issue that we've got going on in this country. All right, check you later.